Joining us at the table, Joel Rubin, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under President Obama. He was the top State Department liaison to the House of Representatives during the 2015 Iran nuclear talks. So he knows a little bit of something about what happened there.
Luke, he was like, this is happening to you.
Right.
The president said, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Crazy.
He's also the author of the new book, Saving Democratic Foreign Policy. Welcome. Good to have you at the table, Mr. Secretary. Real pleasure.
Thanks so much.
So look, let's just let's start with let's just go to the deal first. Can we just
the art of the
deal?
Just the art of the deal.
What's the deal? Yeah.
I was listening to Up First this morning, the NPR Up First. I try to listen to it every morning, and it was so crazy because they mentioned this thing that Vance said yesterday, and I would like to remind people that J.D. Vance is not at the negotiations because they fell through. So I don't understand how the president is out here like, oh, what I've learned from this is I got no limits to my power and da-da-da, and they're claiming a deal is done. There is no deal. But this is what J.D. Vance said yesterday at the White House, and I think people should take a listen to it.
And are any of these gentlemen's agreements written down anywhere?
So some of them are written down, but fundamentally, whether they're written down or spoken, this is why we structured the deal that we did, because we don't trust words. We trust action, and we trust conduct. And so we're going to reward conduct, and we're not going to reward any words, whether they're written on a sheet of paper or not.
That dovetails for me, Luke, with the idea that, oh, the president believes he has limitless power. Now they just trust actions. They don't trust words. Isn't diplomacy all about words being able to be trusted?
Diplomacy is about words, and diplomacy is also about actions that back up the words, or the words that back up the actions.
One would expect.
Hey, it's news to me that a diplomatic agreement doesn't have to have words that anybody believes in. If you go through the history of American diplomacy, treaties, agreements with foreign countries, you ultimately come to an agreed upon text that both sides say is the accurate text, and then they sign it, and then they move forward from that. We already have two different texts. We think one thing, the Iranians think another. They frankly have President Trump on the run. Let's just be blunt about this. He right now is in a defensive position. He does not have control any longer of the diplomatic process, and the Iranians know this. And so they're just playing with him and, yanking him back and forth. And so Vice President Vance, he can't commit to words, apparently, because he doesn't know what the words are. And he doesn't have confidence that we can actually execute a treaty, an agreement with Iran with solid words that will pass muster here in the United States.
Yeah, it's Friday, and I think people forget on Monday it was coming out of the New York Times opinion section, Monday or Tuesday, that the United States lost the war in Iran.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal. Okay? Sure. And you think about this, 13 service members have died, billions upon billions of dollars have been spent. Our allies in the Gulf states have had to deal with massive infrastructure damage from Iranian missiles. Energy prices went through the roof around the world. The world economy was permanently re-altered. This wasn't some little thing. This is a very big deal. Oh, and not to mention now, there's daylight between the U.S. and Israel, especially as it pertains to Lebanon. There's a real fear that Israel could launch a mounting assault into Lebanon, which President Trump has said he does not want. So there's a lot of problems here. I thought someone described it quite eloquently on the Today Show, former President Obama. And I'd like to play that clip because this is Obama week. So let's play what he said.
We've now fought a war, spent billions and billions of dollars, put an enormous strain on our military. A lot of people have died. And it feels like we're back where we were before we started the war, except maybe a little bit worse off.
Yeah, Joe, a little bit worse off. Iran seems to be emboldened. They have taken the United States' biggest punch and survived it.
That's right, Luke.
And as President Obama said, for what?
Look, Luke, this didn't happen in a vacuum, what we're experiencing right now. This is part of an 11-year program by the Republicans and by Donald Trump to delegitimize President Obama's nuclear deal. They attacked it. They undermined it politically. They tried to destroy it. They eventually got him to get out of it in 2018 to give us this, to give us nothing, to give us a deal that nobody believes in, to create a $300 billion slush fund for Iran to get its military rebuilt, to not have clarity on Lebanon, to have nothing about inspections and the rules of the road for Iran's nuclear program going forward. That's what we got. They broke the deal, and this is where we are right now.
It is exactly where we are.
And the Strait of Hormuz is,
And the Strait of Hormuz.
operating like it was previously.
That was a good point
Gas
about the
prices are
inspections,
high.
though. Because those were such a big part of the first deal, and they're hardly in here at all.
And not at all.
Well,
Well, it's ain't a deal. It is an agreement to chit-chat about getting a deal.
It can be.
Fine, upstanding gentlemen.
Yeah, right. Even an MOU can be a deal in not necessarily the strictest sense of the word, but it can be operationalized as the foundations of a deal. So I'm going to give them that pinky toe.
You give it to them. I'm keeping mine.
You keep yours. I'm going to give them that pinky toe. But here's the thing. You were the assistant deputy secretary of state.
Yeah.
So you know something about diplomacy, diplomats, the State Department. I have a two-parter for you. The first part was, where was the Secretary of State?
He's got a lot of jobs. He's got a lot of jobs.
Smartest guy in the room.
He's got to fix the reflection pool. That's one of his jobs.
I just curious. Maybe somebody saw.
Marco.
I've done.
Polo.
Look. Let's be honest. Okay. Secretary Rubio.
Okay.
Can I get into part one, and then you go to part two?
Yes.
Secretary Rubio.
Yes.
Spent many years in the United States Senate berating President Obama and the State Department
you knew where I was going.
Lousy Iran nuclear deal, where there were pallets of cash being given, where there were secret side deals being done. Now he can't stand in front of the camera and answer a question because what he has delivered is exactly what he bashed, but worse.
Absolutely. Part two. Simone opened this conversation up with the sound from, Vance, Vice President Vance, and he said, "We don't trust words, we trust actions." So I'd like to play for the secretary. For the secretary, for you, because I want you to address this, but for the vice president in particular, what Republicans Senator Cassidy, Cruz, and Cotton words have to say about this deal.
The details that I've seen so far look awful. This will go down as a tremendous foreign policy blunder. Iran ends up stronger. Our allies in the region are weaker.
Giving billions of dollars to theocratic lunatics who want to murder us is not a good idea.
There's certain parts of this memorandum that are a bit vaguer about Iran's ability to access up to $100 billion of frozen funds, or whether Iran can impose tolls on the Strait of Hormuz after 2 months. We'll need more explanation there. I hope President Trump won't allow those things to happen.
Man.
They may not trust anybody's words, but I would damn sure trust their words, because that could lead to some very unhealthy actions for the administration.
Yeah, but Michael, I can't help but think, where did their spine go? Where's the fire-breathing Tom Cotton and Ted Cruz, who were ripping us to shreds for years about everything that they're now a little concerned about, a little worried about? The hypocrisy is astounding. This is a crisis for the Republican Party. My advice to Democrats is to step back. Don't say a thing in terms of supporting it. Just let it go. They own this. They broke it, as Secretary Powell used to say, and I served in the State Department under Secretary Powell. He said, if you break it, you buy it.
Right.
That's it. So this is their foreign policy, and I don't think any of these senators can truthfully tell each other that this is a deal they want to support.
And there are 13 tombstones that accentuate that foreign policy because of the recklessness of this administration.
I mean, literally, our service members are dead, it seems like, for no reason whatsoever. Joel Rubin, thank you very much for your time tonight. After the break,